Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews and welcome to Northern Ontario. You can see in the thumbnail there, I'm working on this water project. I got everything pretty much all working. Just a couple of leaks I got to work on, but I hope you find this fascinating. And we're going to start off this year where we carried off from last year, and we're going to go all the way down to where I pump my water and bring it all the way up, and you are just going to be amazed at how far that little 12-volt pump that runs off of the battery and a 100-watt solar panel, how far it could pump water. You're just going to be amazed. So it's a beautiful day up here in Northern Ontario. Let's get to it. Okay, we're going to start off right here at where the water gets pumped. And the only thing I've added this year is this pressure tank. And the reason why you need a pressure tank really is it's easier on the pump, and it actually starts the water flowing so that when the pump kicks in, you don't have so much pressure, back pressure on the pump itself. It makes it easier just for the pump, but that's a little addition for this year. And for you that are new to the channel, this is the setup right here. And I have the pump in here. If you want, I'll put a playlist underneath if you want to follow along how I did all of this. And all we're going to do, flick the switch, starting to pump water here. And if you take a look as we walk along all the way to the tap up there, well, that is exactly 100 feet. So as that's filling up there, we have to come to the top of the hill. And for a lot of you who've never seen my camp up here, this is my place. And as you can see, I got lots of grass to cut up there yet. Just imagine everything I have here. Yeah, I got to cut all this grass. So let's get over here, turn the switch on here. Got the switch on there. And if we just take a look way up there, both them hoses together are 130 feet. So there's where I draw my water from my shower. And the only thing I've added is I added a second filter. These are both 1 micron filters. In my water I've got what's called tannin. This almost looks like a like the color of tea. And so the water comes in, comes through here, little sediment filter, comes along, another 1 micron filter, and it goes into my shower room back there, hot water tank, and I get all my power for the hot water tank in my generator shed there. And I've got a 7,500 watt Generac generator. This is my little wood pile here. So we're going to come along here to this hose. This is my new idea for the year. Let's get a little windy here. You have to bear with me. So this is what I've designed here. I got 4 lines that go into the cabin. One goes over to here to draw 120 volt electricity. The other one goes inside to draw 12 volt. And I have 2 lines, hot water, cold water. So I'm going to explain this all to you. And I've got a tap on the outside. I'm going to demonstrate all this. I got a tap on the outside with my hose here. And I like these kind of slinky kind of hoses that just fold up so easily, and they don't take up no room. That's actually a 100-foot hose there. And this is my water barrel. So on the outside I got a tap to drain it out. And if we take a look here, I put some wire loom over top because with this PEX pipe, it's got to stay out of the sunlight, right? So I've got a connector right here, and on that connector I'll just separate that in the fall, and I have a line to go down to the ground, put it into a bucket of plumbing antifreeze, and pump the whole system, fill it full of plumbing antifreeze to winterize it for the winter. So this is the rig right here, and this is just one of these quick connect fittings, and that's the outlet on the end. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod, and there's the ring that just goes around the top here. Now I don't think the wind would blow it over, but that's the way it is there. So this is just like a little bit of a shed here, and that's pretty well it, right? So I built everything inside of this shed, And I'm going to explain it all to you, then we're going to go inside and I'm going to show you the water. Now remember, 230 feet of hose. I'm going to connect this line here, this quick connect, up to there. I'm going to turn the valve on and I'm going to demonstrate some fancy water power. Let's get to it. Okay, you ready? So we're going to be pumping this water all the way from down there all the way to here. And what do I got here? I've got a 1 micron filter inside the tank. And that's all I need right there. Now this is leaking a little bit here, but you know, that's fine. I really couldn't care less as long as it's pumping the water. And in here, yeah, I just fill that right up. Now if you're wondering how much pressure is at the end here, I'm going to take that line off, then I'm going to show you what it looks like on the end of this hose nozzle. How much pressure is actually left. So I'm going to fix this after a while anyways. Nobody wants this leaking like that all the time. But as you can see, it goes through the filter and then inside. So let's just put the nozzle on the end and I'll show you how much pressure I got. 230 feet away from my spring water, pushing with a 12 volt SureFlow pump. Okay, you ready? Here's the hose nozzle right here. Look at that pressure. I mean, that's lots of pressure. 230 feet away from the where the water's getting pumped. And I thought that's pretty incredible. So what I'm going to do now, take you off the tripod. I'll open up the doors here and I'll explain exactly how everything all works. Okay, so this is the whole system right here, and you can see I've got a pressure tank, I got a hot water tank, and these are all projects that I've shown, you know, over time. I do a bit at a time. This was all built during the winter. And if we take a look here, the first thing you're going to notice is I've got a electrical timer here, and that is for the hot water tank. And the whole idea behind that is, well, I found that about 15 minutes heats this tank up just fine. So that's how the wiring goes there. And we're going to start off right from the beginning, and right there is where the water comes in. It goes through the pump. And of course, this is not just a regular, you know, water pump. It's a permanent duty pump. It's not for like temporary use. So that's why you need this particular type of pump. The other pumps, they would never last. So it comes through here, and this is a valve, a shut-off valve. So the water right now will go through here, right? So if I turn this on, you'll see the water going through there, and then it'll charge up the system. So I just won't let that run, but I need a water shut off out here as well as inside the cabin, because you know, you got to have control of both sides, right? So anyways, this valve runs the water through here, and I've got a leak right here. See it right there? Got a leak right there. So I'll have to work on these things, but so anyways, we'll get to the valve here. The water goes through here, does not go down this line. Now in the fall, what I do is I turn this valve. The water will not go through here anymore. It goes down here, goes across. I turn this valve off here, and then I can run the plumbing antifreeze. It'll suck the plumbing antifreeze through here, down here, stop at the valve, and then this is the feed line that goes all the way into the cabin, right at the bottom. Okay, so on the other side of the pressure line, this goes in here, comes down here, goes to the tank, and this is a little drain here for the tank. I can just swing out here to drain the water out. Comes over here to the hot water tank, and then from the hot water tank you can see it goes through here. So all I've done was tapped into here, and this goes down, and you can see the lines I have there. Got an extension cord, got 12 volt feed, and I got the hot and the cold. Now of course they're all cold lines until you turn the hot water tank on, right? But when you turn the hot water tank on, well, it is too hot. You have to actually have some mixing going on to cool down, you know, the water. So that's the setup right there. And of course I do have a couple of leaks, and I got one leak down the bottom. But none of these leaks are from the PEX fittings or the SharkBite fittings. They are all strictly from the brass fittings. Like this one here, it's leaking up in here. So it's at the brass fittings, and these all can be fixed. And of course, you do your best, but a lot of these fittings here going into the water filter, they're leaking a bit too. So what I'm going to do, like most times, the experience I've had is, since this is just new, I'm pretty sure that these lines, they're just going to plug up with a little bit of, I would say, corrosion over time, instead of me trying to take them apart and reseal them all over again. Because you can see on the pump there, I've got what, 20 pounds, a little bit less than 20 pounds, and that'll just drop down right to nothing, right? So, and that's pretty well it. And the hot water tank, like I say, 15 minutes, and I got smoking hot water in there. So I didn't really have to go for a big tank like this, but you know what, I got this tank for like next to nothing, so I thought might as well use it. So let's go on the outside here and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so right here I got the lines going inside the little shed, and I've covered them all up with the poly tubing and screwed them to the wall. Just put some plugs in the end with some paper towel, and then put silicone sealer on the end just to plug it up. And all I have to do here still is just put some sealer just around, you know, the entrance holes, just to keep all the vermin out. And you have to cover your PEX plumbing hoses, and I like to cover everything, because in the north you always got something chewing on something, right? And they don't seem to like to chew on poly pipe, so that's a good resolve right there. And if you wonder what that is, that's the drain that comes out of my kitchen sink. So I'll take you inside and I'll show you how this system works on the inside. And for you who's never seen it before, this is my little control panel here, and right here is my solar panel. That's a 400 watt solar panel, and the line comes underneath here, and I've got inverter power at this end. And when I have my generator running, that outlet right there, well, that goes live too. So what I'm going to do is I'll take you inside and I'll just give a little bit of a scenery shot here, what it looks like here. You guys interested in looking at a couple outhouses? A lot of people, you know, let's take a look at these outhouses. A lot of people think that, you know, we're whacked out of our mind here having outhouses, but this is quite common for us. And these are two nice outhouses, and solar panel on each one. So I got lights inside, and I'll just show you these quickly. So there it is right there, nothing fancy. Wow, how many of you guys got a disco ball on the ceiling, right? So yeah, I got lights in there, and I got a light switch. Yeah, it's pretty basic. This one here is a little better designed outhouse, and just open the door for you here. Yeah, that's pretty well it. Yeah, I got two lights on the ceiling, lots of ventilation, and if you're wondering, yeah, none of these outhouses smell like you think. They're all designed not to smell. I got the proper ventilation going on, and this is just some of my machinery here. And I'll just give you a quick look at some stuff here, because a lot of people have never seen these things. So there's my lawn tractor, my ATV, and there's my Kubota B7800 tractor, and I'm going to be cutting all this grass today. So this is my mission today. And if you're wondering how long that takes, well, it takes about, well, I'll show you the cutter. If you want to take a look at the cutter. The cutter is 5 feet. Right there. There's the cutter, 5 feet. I hook it up towards the back of the tractor, and it takes me about 8 hours to cut that grass. And then I got all my flags up, and this is my little garage. And I'll just take you inside here and just show you a little bit. Things have changed over time. I used to have a wood stove here. I took this out. Yeah, and that's, all my stuff on the walls. And yeah, I've got lights in here too in the ceiling. And this is all my gear here, and I got a radio inside here. I got a power inverter and a battery down there, and yeah, you gotta have all kinds of gear when you're up in the north. And I gotta cut all that grass up there too. So let's go inside. I'm gonna explain how the plumbing all works inside, because it's a dual system. So I've got the water, this water that I've showed you right now, that's for during the non-freezing temperatures, and then I switch over to a bucket for water when it's freezing. And there's my Chevy Silverado. So now I want to show you this first. I know people are going to say, get to it, get to it, get to it. Anyways, this is my Blackstone griddle. We cook on that, barbecue. And this is a project that I showed during the last winter. And this is just a little solar, it's a couple of solar panels. And I built a stand. I show you how that all works. And these are all videos that I did in the past. If you want, I'll put some links down below so you can figure out how this stuff all works. And I'm going to go over to here. And this is my window. And there's some fans. We're going to go inside and we're going to check them fans out too. So let's go inside and I'll show you what I can inside. Okay, so we're in the cabin. First thing I'll show you, this is my cooler, and that's one of them kind of buckets that I will use when it comes to the fall, when it's cold outside and it'll freeze your water. We just bring up one of these buckets and I'll show you how that's going to work. And I just got one bedroom here. This is my bedroom here, and I'll just kind of pan around and show you the setup here. I made a video on how to make one of these, and there's my toaster right there. I showed a video on that. That's a great toaster. And this is the cabin right here, and this is like my off-grid place. And I've got a fridge, and here's them fans. I put one of them fresheners there in front of it, and I'll bring it closer so you could hear it. I mean, they are cranking out. So when I used to come up here before, you know, during the week, you know, from one week to the next, what would happen was it kind of smelled, you know, like musty in here, because you can't leave the windows wide open, right? The rain would just pour in. But this right here solves everything. When I come in here, well, it's great. And there's a little bit of a storage pantry there. My TV, I get one television channel, and that's pretty well it. That's it to the cabin. So I'll bring you around here, and I'll show you this. We got a little microwave, and of course you have to turn the generator on for that. And there's a little bit of a kitchenette here. And like I say, I've made this video before on this little kind of toaster, and this is awesome. And you know what? It's not rusting, so it was stainless steel. And you know, that's pretty well it right there. I don't know what you guys think or what you expect, but yeah, and that's where I cook on, and that's where I get my fresh water. I bring that up, and hand sanitizer, and there's my control. So this one here shows the voltage. I can turn this off because I had the power on outside. So this one here is for my power inverter, and when I have the generator running, I can shut it off in here if I want. And this is the switch that I turn on for the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this all works under here, because of course everything works in here. And I just got like a regular tap like everybody would have, and I'm going to get a flashlight. I'm going to try to explain this the best I can, because I know it's not going to be the easiest, and it's not the lightest in here either. I mean, the lighting kind of sucks, but you can see the bottom line is the cold, and I have a valve that goes on, and that one there is the hot, and you can see where I have the power cord going through. Anyways, it comes along here, and I have a shut-off valve here, and then it attaches to a hose on the end. Now the reason why that's shut off is because the water would just keep continual going down to the other end. And I'm going to show you the other end. But you can see how that works. So I have that valve open, this valve closed, and then I'll close that valve for the fall, open that one, and get my water from over here. And I'll show you where the over here is right now. So there it is right there. It's probably better without the light. But that's it right there. None of these fittings leak. I've had great success using them rings, compression rings. So let's go underneath the other end and take a look and see what it looks like. Okay, so I know this is bad lighting here. But if you take a look in there, right in there, all I've got is one of them small little 12-volt sump pumps. You know, like a really inexpensive one. And I've ran that now for like 6 years, no problem. And it's got the connector on the end there. And that connector on the end, I would just take it off, and I got another connector at this end, right in, well, it's hard to tell, right in there. And yeah, the lighting sucks, right? Okay. And it goes through the wall in there. So all I have to do is put that blue bucket in there, put that on top, change the 12-volt feed from the outside pump to the inside pump, and that's it. So I mean, it's as easy as that, but it took a lot of work getting there. Well, I went outside and I turned the power on inside the little shed there where I've got all my my hot water tank and inside the shed. So I turned this on. I don't know if you can hear the pump or not, but it's running out there. I can turn it off, you know, and you know, that's pretty good like that. And then I can turn it off, and we'll come over to the sink, and you can definitely see that's a lot of water running there. And that's with the pump off with a little bit of pressure left in the tank there. And for me, that's all I wanted, was a lot of water. I can use it anytime I want. Turn the generator on, get some hot water, turn the valve from left to the right, mix it just the right, so, you know. Now the reason why I'm doing all this is because they're banning all single-use plastics up here in Canada at the end of the year. And I have nothing but single-use plastics for everything, because I don't like doing dishes. But guess what? You're not going to be able to buy them no more. I got to be able to do some dishes. So that's the reason why right there. And there's my little dispenser for putting out soap to wash your hands. And now it's so easy just to, you hear the click here, turn the water on outside and get your water. I mean, that's good flow there. So what do you think? Well, that's it right there. It's all self-contained, easy to maintain, and you know, a little bit of water that's leaking out there, well, I'll tell you the truth, I really couldn't care too much because there's nothing in there that you could damage. You know, it's all plastic, so, you know, for me, that's a win-win. Having access to water is something that, well, you really don't appreciate until you don't have any. And we used to always just bring up 5-gallon buckets of water and make do the best we can. But now I've got lots of water and it's so easy to do. Now if you're wondering, yes, what I do is I fill that bucket up and I put about a 1/4 cup of Javex in there. And you know, that sterilizes everything as well. So I mean, you don't want to have any pathogens. And of course I've got 3 1-micron filters, and they do a great job too of taking the tannin out. You can see that water look crystal clear, right? So thanks for joining me here today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll do the best I can to answer. And like I said, I'll put some links down below for the playlist on all this stuff, so that maybe if you're somebody who has an off-grid place and you're up in the middle of nowhere and you want to do this, well, it's nice to be able to know that it can be done. And to pump water 230 feet, you know what? I'm guessing I could go 400 easy. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again and let's have some more fun. Cheers.